How's it going, everybody? Just a quick audio check to make sure everything's going out. Let me know if you can hear me. All right, looks like everything's working. I'll be getting started here in just a minute. How's it going, everybody? It is time to get this thing going. So, those of you who haven't been here in a while probably notice I'm in a new space. Got a new studio going because I recently had a big move, which is a big part of the contributing factors of why I haven't been around for a while. Nor have I been able to make content with the frequency that I used to. But that also meant that I fell behind on some of the quests. That is to say, on the quest log, I still have both Baiju and DEHYA'S quests uncompleted. And I also have a number of world quests and other side quests that I need to get knocked out this week. So that is something I'm going to be putting a lot of time into this week. So I figured it best to go ahead and just do that with you all and kind of just get, while I'm catching up on the story, I'm just gonna kind of catch up with you all and just kind of enjoy it. I think that'll be a kind of a better way to handle it, as opposed to just kind of doing it silently and making it feel like a chore. I think this might be a little bit more fun for me and hopefully for you guys as well. So I'm gonna get into all of this here in just a minute. Do know I already started DEHYA'S quest, but I didn't get very far. I literally only did, I think, like the first 2 scenes, because the Nahita's second Archon quest, which I did do, I had to complete a couple of parts of Dia's quest just to unlock those scenes from Nahita's quest. So yeah, I ended up having to knock out a couple of those. So I'm not exactly at the beginning of the quest, but the gist of it is you're trying to help, I think, Dia take down her father's old clan, because they're kind of bad people. And yeah, her father's kind of not a great person, or at least that's the way it seems from the first few scenes. So I'm going to be getting into that. And then after that, if there's some time, I might get into a few other side quest things, just to start trying to dig away at some of those, depending on what time it is when I finish all of that. Yeah. If you guys are hearing any kind of noise or anything behind me, I do have a fan blowing on me from behind, because my window's open from behind, because we just bought this house, and right after we bought it, the AC upstairs broke. So I don't know about you guys, but being in the upstairs of a house in Georgia in May with a computer tower, like, you know, close enough to touch it right behind you, all these things add up to a lot of heat. I'm just hoping my computer continues to run at an acceptable temperature, so that we don't have any problems with all this until I get my AC situation resolved. Hopefully that'll be done within the next couple of weeks. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't know about you guys, but air conditioning systems are expensive, man. So yeah, we're trying to figure out the cheapest way to get that done, because that was an unexpected, really high expense. So yeah, we're gonna take it slow on that one, and I'm just gonna sit here in a room that I dare not look at what the temperature is actually. But yeah, it's pretty warm here right now. It's 87 degrees Fahrenheit. So yeah, you know, for those of you who you know, are in places where it's you know, in Celsius, I don't know what that converts to, but let's see. I can show you guys on my watch if you guys can see it right there in the bottom corner if it'll focus. Bottom right corner, it says 87. It's probably a little out of focus there, but yeah, 87. It's hot, and this room is probably most of that, if I'm gonna be honest with you. So yeah. In the meantime, let's get started on all of this, shall we? Like I said, I already got this this quest started, so now I just need to continue it. I gotta tell you, that fan behind me is definitely helping out, though, because it is toasty in here, and every time I catch a little bit of the breeze behind me from the fan, it's pretty nice, not gonna lie. All right. Let's get at it. By the way, thanks for being here, everybody. I know it's kind of an unusual time of day for this, by the way. And a lot of these streams are going to be taking place early in the day this week. Many of them taking place at like 9 a.m., except for the weekend ones, which are going to be 9 p.m. Those will be a lot cooler out, which will be really nice. We'll see. A swap cooler probably doesn't do anything in Georgia, huh? My condolences. We have a like a window-mounted AC in our bedroom right now, but it's staying in the bedroom. Yeah, until we get this handled, and then it might be temporarily a thing that we'll move into here once the AC is actually fixed, just to kind of help overpower the computer behind me.
This should be the place. Let's find a spot to hide and bide our time.
All right. Yes, so let's hide, Dia.
It's gonna come down to a fight one way or another, so let's all be careful.
And if you guys are having any trouble hearing the in-game sounds, let me know. I can make some adjustments to those, or if I'm too loud or too quiet or anything like that.
No need to worry. He knows his way around a fight.
That's true.
I'm not worried about that. What I meant is that we probably shouldn't go too hard on the enemy. After all, we still need to get information out of him.
I don't know how many transitions they've ever used with the actual
Here they
clock
come.
sound
You
before.
ready? Let's not give them a chance to react and end this quickly.
Well, then I brought the right team, unless there's a trial team. There is kind of a trial team. I mean, I guess I can still throw those down. It doesn't hurt anything.
Spicy.
Let's light it up! Everybody stand! Now you
Bye.
shall perish! Huh.
Overkill. Look at that guy dangling around back. Did he just turn to sand? Oh, Thanos got that guy.
You're the Flame Mane.
Good. That saves me an introduction. All right, time for a little talk. Are you buddies with Dakana Lakmar now? Tell me, what are they after?
You know the code of being a mercenary just like everyone else. The first rule is to never divulge key information about our employer. What makes you think I'd talk?
I appreciate it, Aether. Thanks, man. It makes the heat a little less uncomfortable. Appreciate it.
That might have worked on an amateur, but I know you're just looking to protect your reputation. Think about it, though. What's your reputation worth if you won't have the other tools you need to succeed in this line of work? Tools like, I don't know, your limbs or eyes?
Damn, Dia. She ain't playing around, is she?
You've got 5 seconds. You might want to think twice about how much your employer's information is worth to you.
Whoa!
It's alright, Paimon. She knows what she's
I'm not
doing.
joking around. We can do this the easy way or the painful way. 2 seconds.
I'll save you the trouble.
Yo, did this guy just kill himself? What just happened?
Huh?
Whoa.
Are you crazy?
I did not see that coming. What?
He tried to bite off his own tongue. Quick, search the area for any first aid supplies.
He tried to bite off his own tongue. Huh. Dia's emergency treatment, the bleeding in Satoru's mouth is brought.
I definitely
couldn't read
didn't
the last
expect
word.
him to go that far. Thankfully, the wound wasn't too deep, and he just passed out from the pain.
But why would he be so extreme?
I just wanted to test his mettle. You can get a lot of mercenaries to talk just by threatening them. I didn't expect him to be willing to go through so much pain just to deny us some intel.
Well, he's out cold for now. We could wait for him to wake up, but maybe it's not a good idea to interrogate him any further.
Right, he might successfully
we
bite his
do?
tongue the rest of the way off.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It'll be a waste of time to interrogate him again after that. He might just hurt himself again if we start asking.
I think that's a high probability.
There are lots of goods around here. Let's search the area. Maybe we'll be able to find something. I'm really sorry.
Dia seems to have miscalculated that one. Alright. There's a bunch of weapons and boxes, as well as a bunch of medicine and bandages. It seems like Dakan al-Akhmar is really up to no good. Check transport. There are a lot of daily necessities like food and water in the boxes. It doesn't seem like there's anything noteworthy. Alright.
We found a piece of paper with a bunch of names on it. Maybe it's a record of something.
Let me take a look. If this really is a merchant caravan, they should have a record of their transactions. Yep. I see an entry for Dakana Lakmar right here. Kusela, Idrisi, Bashar, and Takriti. All familiar names. Dakana Lakmar has been trading for a hefty supply of food, weapons, and medicine. It seems that in the past, they used to receive some canned knowledge as well.
Well, canned knowledge, as we know, is illegal. Beans, whoa, this got dark. Yeah, it did. It did get a little dark quick.
This caravan is just one link in their logistics chain. Once in the rainforest, the caravan will exchange the looted goods for Mora, and the funds will then be passed to a specific person.
Now, for what it's worth, in terms of things having gotten dark, this quest actually kind of started dark with the very first scene. Kind of outlines the fact that like Dia was brought up. She was supposed to be blind, I guess, to what her father's group of bandits were doing, because they were trying not to do their horrible things in front of her, but she was still finding out what they were doing anyways. But in short, they were pretty much robbing caravans and murdering them, and stripping them of all their possessions. So yeah, her father's not an okay guy.
That person will then pack the caravan full of necessary goods, which will then be brought right back to Dakana Lakmar. Wait, why is there no Mora value recorded for the final transaction?
I don't know, why isn't there?
No value?
Yeah, every transaction before the last one was marked with an exact amount of Mora, but the final one, where they paid for everything to be brought back to the desert, was simply marked as delivered.
Maybe the Mora amounts just happened to cancel each other out?
Perhaps. But they couldn't have known how much they would make off selling the loot. Do they not care about profit margins at all? Anyway, the next part's the records of the goods themselves. There are a lot of entries. Everything was probably sourced from the rainforest. Huh?
What's wrong?
Shazamon Homayani?
Who is that?
Homayani? You mean Dunyarzad's family?
Oh. Yeah.
Could it just be another family with the same last name?
I'd be surprised to find someone with the exact same first and last name. Shazamon Homayani is Dunyarzad's father, and the head of the Homayani family. Just what the heck is going on here?
Calm down, Dia. Let's analyze the situation first. Yeah, we better not have gone through everything we went through in the first few versions of the, the 3.0 series to save Dunyarzad just for her to end up dead in this quest. I'm gonna be kind of salty.
I'm sorry. You're right. I'll consider what we found and not jump to conclusions just yet. But what this piece of paper confirms is that the Homayani family has been providing goods to Dakana Lakmar.
This is like protection money?
What
I'm gonna
if the
guess it's like
Homayanis have
protection
protected
money,
the guard?
and it's probably
I don't know if
begrudged.
they've been trading with Dakana Lakmar.
That's a possibility, but if that was the case, why is this caravan specifically named Shazamon as their person of contact? They could have just as easily bought goods such as food and medicine directly from Caravan Rebot or Port Ormos.
If Shazamon was actually aware of this, then perhaps he's been supplying the brigade's operations this entire time.
Yeah, funding violence and looting. The brigade gets the goods, and he is paid the proceeds from the sale of the loot.
It's alright, Batman sucks. Nah, Batman's okay. Although there hasn't been a good Batman movie in a long time.
Do something like this. It's not like the Homayanis are in need of money.
I honestly have no idea. I've been to their estate many times, and I've never noticed anything suspicious. The only potentially large expenditure I could think of would be the treatment costs for Dunyarzad's Elazar. Maybe they borrowed a lot of Mora in the past,
That could make sense.
but that's still just a speculation. I don't think the Master would stoop so low to make Mora.
I don't think Dunyarzad knows anything about this either. Probably
You're probably
not.
right. I know my lady's personality, and she wouldn't deliberately keep something like this from us.
But what should we do now? All we found is just another mystery.
If we want to get to the bottom of this, we won't be able to turn back.
If you ask me, we already have no choice but to confront her about this. I'm not worried. It's too early to make a verdict yet. I still have faith in the Homayanis. Let's go find my lady again. We'll tell her everything and see if she's willing to lend us her support. If we're lucky, we can not only figure out the mystery of this paper, but also follow the trail of breadcrumbs to the people responsible at Dakana Lakmar.
Dia, are you sure this is the best decision? What if instead of getting the help we need, we just end up revealing everything we've discovered to the enemy.
I've considered that possibility. But even still, I want to tell her what we found. I think I owe her that much. True friendship is built on trust. She showed genuine concern for me when we first brought up the topic. I can't repay her kindness with doubt and suspicion.
Probably not.
That's not how I deal with people.
You're right. Paimon wants to trust Dunyarzad too.
I hope we'll be of
Yeah.
help to her.
Let's pay another visit to Sumeru City.
Counts obtained from your target caravan. Yeah, I don't care about that. It reminds me, I need to check something really quick. 5 days. Okay. I gotta squeeze that in here sometime this week because I haven't done that quest yet either. The current event. And just for clarity though, like being behind on everything, it mostly means that I've prioritized anything that expires or was of critical importance for just continual story gathering. So that I wouldn't fall behind on anything too critical, but a lot of the side things, like what I'm working on right now, and hangout quests, side quests, world quests, are things that I have not been able to address. And if you guys have looked over my schedule for the streams for the rest of the week, you'll notice that I haven't even had the time to even go to the section of the map yet. So yeah, I've been over there a little bit, like on Aether here in the chat's world, just so that I could work on leveling up my Baiju so that he's actually usable. Although I still have talent work to do for him because I don't have access to the boss yet. So I gotta do that so that I can get his talents going.
We're back, my lady.
Oh, you're back a lot sooner than I expected. You mustn't have run into any trouble then.
Well, not
How
not
did it
the
go?
trouble expected.
What did you come up with?
Actually, we're still investigating. It's just that we've discovered something strange.
I see. The clues you found have led you back here, in the city?
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
You all look a little dispirited. Whatever you found must not have been very encouraging after all. Why don't you discuss it with me? Maybe I'll be able to say something to cheer you up?
It's okay, my lady. It's not so much about me being upset with my father or anything like that. How should I put this?
So something is wrong. Even the Traveler and Paimon have been uncharacteristically quiet.
That's an interesting statement to say that the Traveler has been uncharacteristically quiet. A character who is characteristically silent.
On any other day, Paimon would have already waved to me with a smile and shouted, "Dunyarzad, we're back!"
True.
So tell me, what happened?
Well?
My lady, please prepare yourself for what we're going to tell you next. It concerns the Master.
The Master? You mean my father? Okay, I understand. Don't worry about me. I'll listen as attentively as I can.
Dia manages to explain the results of the investigation to
My
Dunyarzad.
father has been supplying goods to Dakan al-Akmar?
It seems that way.
Yeah, it makes as little sense to us as it does to you. I've never doubted the Master's integrity, so I'm having a real hard time rationalizing how he could ever support an infamous brigade like them. Maybe he's not actually aware of the full story and just stumbled into the deal by accident.
That feels unlikely, though.
I can't help but
That
agree with
face.
the Traveler.
Huh? You mean you feel the same way, Dunyarzad?
Thank you for sharing all this information with me. Since you've told me everything you know, I should also tell you about some doubts that I've been harboring for quite a while. In the past, I thought that my father hired a bodyguard for me so that I wouldn't run away and get lost.
I have got to find out what... I have adjusted the volume on that about a dozen times. I actually did it again recently and it still won't go down, but thank you, Tangy. I appreciate it. I'm not doing bad, Tangy. I'm coming down from being crazy busy. That's all. Moving is exhausting. Moving and changing careers is just unfair. So it's been interesting.
However, there are plenty of capable mercenaries in the Corps of 30. Why did my father go out of his way to hire Dia?
About that. Well, the Homayanis really needed bodyguards, so they reached out to the Blazing Beasts. Later, the Master told me that I was one of the best mercenaries he'd ever seen, and that I should stick around to become one of his bodyguards. He offered me a pile of Mora, so I just signed on.
Well, but that didn't really answer my question. Just think about it. Why did my father specifically reach out to the Blazing Beasts?
Maybe the Corps of 30 just didn't have anyone available, or maybe someone recommended us. I've never given it too much thought. I think I get what you're saying. You'd think none of this was a coincidence.
I mean, it could be a setup.
Precisely. At first glance, nothing seems strange or out of place. But there are many parts of the story that don't actually make any sense. If my father had always been in contact with Dakan al-Akmar, then it would make sense for him to bring Dia into our house.
Oh, another one. That one was... Oh, it's still Tangy. Well, thank you. Oh my god, these are all... I gotta fix the volume on that, you guys. I don't know why. I can't get that to go down. Guess what, Apple Pie? Appreciate you, Tangy. Also, Darren's, thank you as well. It's good to have you back. I'm looking forward to the stream week. Yeah, me too, actually. You know, it's been a long time coming to be able to like just sit down and do content like this again. So I'm excited that once I finish this week to sit down and start doing lore analysis again. I've had a theory that I've been sitting on since the main story finished for 3.5 that I need to really sit down and collect. I'm also going to be exploring possibly new ways of telling theories as well, just to see if I can make content production more reliable and sustainable, because you know the way that I've always done my videos takes a long time for me to put them together working full time, you know, and doing this on the side, so it's complicated.
You mean the goal all along was to get Dia to be your bodyguard?
Yeah, after today's stream, I'm gonna go and try once again to get the freaking volume on those notifications to actually go down.
No, that's too much of a stretch. I cut all ties with my father a long time ago. He has no control over my life anymore.
But that still doesn't rule out the possibility that your father has still been trying to influence your life without you knowing.
So, the Master was not likely an innocent victim in all of this?
That's what things are looking like at this point.
Sorry we put all of this on you so suddenly, Junior Zod.
Well, at least she's healthier and can handle news like this nowadays.
It's okay, Paimon. I should actually be thanking you. Regardless of his reasons, if my father has truly been funding a violent group of mercenaries, then it's my duty to bring him back to reason.
But is that really the right thing to do? My father has committed many atrocities and deserves all the punishment that he has coming to him. I have zero sympathy for him. You may call me an ungrateful child, but my feelings will remain the same. However, the Homayani family has treated me with nothing but generosity and kindness. If we decide to investigate this further, we could end up implicating the entire Homayani family. I would be biting the hand that's fed me over all these years.
Dia.
That would be unfortunate. I understand her apprehension.
It's all right, Dia. If anyone were to ask, you could always just say that I'm the one who instructed you to get to the bottom of this.
You don't
I
have
don't
to do
think
that,
Dia
my
would
lady.
do that.
I'm not conflicted because I'm afraid of taking responsibility. Besides, you're the one we should all be worried about right now.
Hey, it's still too early to give up hope. What was that thing about friendship again?
True friendship is built on trust.
Right, yeah, trust! You said that yourself, Dia. Besides, there's no point on getting all riled up before we've confirmed all the facts.
If your trust hasn't been misplaced, then he probably has many conflicting feelings as well.
Thank you, everyone. That makes a lot of sense. I guess I should always remember the trust that I've placed in people. In which case, my lady, could you ask the Master to come out and have a chat with us?
Sure thing. I also hope he'll be able to give us a logical explanation. Let's meet at the usual place then.
Usual place? Ah, right.
Wait for DEHYA'S at the usual place. I'm gonna guess that's the pub down there. Or near it.
Thank you for
Yeah.
coming, sir. Please allow me to introduce these two.
Yeah, I don't know
This
that
is
we've
the
seen this character
Traveler,
on screen
and next
before.
to him is his travel companion, Paimon.
Ah, yes, my daughter has mentioned them from time to time. It's a privilege to finally meet them in person. But we may skip all the pleasantries for now. What is the important matter you wish to discuss with me today?
Well, we wanted to bring this transaction record to your attention. There's something on this record that we're all pretty curious about.
Yeah, explains the issue to Shazamon and admits.
So,
her doubts.
that's what you found. Huh. Seems like I can't keep everything from you much longer.
Okay.
If you wouldn't mind, we'd like an explanation.
Well, it's a long and difficult story. And to be perfectly honest, I'm not sure if I'm doing the right thing. What I do know, though, Dia, is that the truth will bring you no solace. If anything, it will likely cause you a great amount of anguish.
Wait, me?
Yes, I understand perfectly why you came to see me, and I am touched by your collective commitment to do the right thing. But knowledge always comes at a price, and sometimes, as they say, ignorance is bliss. Your father, Kusela, and I both believed that.
Those magical moments where somebody tries to world request you while you're making a recording for footage that you can use in videos.
Of course, you have the right to seek and learn the truth, but I must warn you. The facts of this matter may reduce everything you've built for yourself into sand, blowing in the wind. If you must proceed, then Kusela's heartfelt efforts will also fade into the wind like a fleeting mirage.
His heartfelt efforts? I'm sorry, sir, but I'm not sure I follow. I've made it this far in life without a single drop of my father's support. I have my own ideals and ways of looking at the world, as well as people and causes that I've chosen to cherish and fight for. None of these things have anything to do with him. I came here today to support you as the head of the Homiyani family. No warning will change my stance on that.
I understand. Then let me tell you a little story.
Yes, please. Tell us a little story.
Our family once needed to take a trip to the desert when DEHYA'S was just a baby. Along the way, we were attacked by bandits. They had superior numbers and quickly overpowered our bodyguards. When all seemed lost, a group of passerby eremites lent us their support. Those eremites were Kusela's brigade, Dekan al-Ahmar.
Yeah, Wolf, yeah, you should probably disable this before you start doing something you'll be recording. So the problem is that I'm almost always recording when I'm playing this game. I'm not kidding when I say I probably have between like 8 and 10 terabytes of recorded footage from the game in like mass storage so that I can go through them and use, you know, like pick through what I need for video footage. So I'm almost always recording when I play. And for a long time I did have it disabled, and it just resulted in me having it disabled all the time, and then I'd have to go and manually undisable it whenever I wanted to invite people. It just got to be a big pain. It felt like punishing everyone for the mistakes of a few, and it really, like, the mistake is, like, they don't know that I'm recording, although they can probably guess that I am, if they even, like, I never know who it is who's inviting or you know, trying to get into the world. It's probably somebody who needs some materials or something.
Kusela's men told me that the attackers were Eremite mercenaries, just like themselves. I was shocked. Why would Dakan al-Ahmar go so far to save us and not spare the fellow Eremites?
Yeah, I have a lot of space, Wolf. You'd be surprised how much space you need running a YouTube channel for 3 years. It's a lot of recording. You know, like all of the actual videos that you make take up space, and the timelines take up space, and you can reduce some of that after the video is completed, but you still want to keep all your raw files.
Kusela was grinning and walked over to play with baby Dunyazad. She was startled by his unfamiliar face and nearly started crying.
Really? I never knew.
He said that he had no particular reason to help us. He just took pity on us because he had a daughter about the same age. We started talking about our children, and I sensed that he was a devoted father. To repay his kindness, I hired his brigade to help out at our estate for a time and offered everyone generous remuneration.
Hey, it looks like my camera just died.
So, that's
I'll
what
fix
happened.
that momentarily.
It was many years before I saw him again. I almost didn't recognize him the next time he came knocking on my door.
We'll see if that helps. Yeah, okay, there we go. Or at least temporarily. Nope, I got it. Cool.
The man I knew to be strong and healthy had been reduced to a shell of himself. He couldn't even walk anymore without his cane.
Well, how long does it take you to comb through all that if you're looking for a particular scene or something? Not as long as you might think. So this is where, like, I had always felt like I was maybe the kind of person who should make like a lore-based kind of YouTube channel for a long time, because I'm the kind of person who watches you know, TV shows and plays games and remembers obscure scenes and where they're placed in things. So it's just a matter of saving everything and organizing it into the right places in my storage files, so that, like, okay, I know it was in this quest, so I know where to go to get it, and I know approximately where in that quest it happened, and usually it's just not very hard for me to find them. Generally, I go to within 1 or 2 files, like, it's usually on the first or second file, generally speaking, when I go to look through one. And then, you know, it's a matter of just finding the shot from within a 20 or 30 minute long recording.
So, what happened to him? He was perfectly fine when I left the brigade.
I'm not too sure myself. The only thing that didn't change was his cheery disposition. He said there was absolutely nothing to worry about, and that he had gotten into a fight. That was all. He then suddenly asked me if Dunyazad, now that she had grown, would need a bodyguard of her own. At the time, Dunyazad was going through a particularly severe bout of her Elazar. There was no need for her to have a bodyguard when she could barely leave the house. But he kept coming back to the topic. Come on, it never hurts to be safe. How do you know a bodyguard won't come in handy one day? I was completely lost at first, until he recommended the Blazing Beasts, and in particular, a mercenary named Dia.
So he was the one who recommended Dia to you.
Indeed. He didn't say it out loud, but it was clear that he saw Deshret's relics as an evil group who would eventually corrupt every member in their ranks. He was already beyond redemption, but He hoped that he would be able to detach his daughter from the vicious world of mercenary life.
Okay, so it seems like maybe his or her father is less horrible than it seemed, or at least to some degree.
If Dia could stay in my house and keep working as a bodyguard, then gradually her affinity for the desert would decrease, and she'd be able to leave her previous life behind.
White Kanoko says, I wonder if her dad was using a delusion. It's certainly possible. The kind of symptoms that he was, showing would kind of suggest delusion exposure. I mean, I guess, we're looking to find out whether or not he had any involvement with the Fatui, because that would be the place where you would get that. So we'll see.
And that's why you offered her such generous compensation?
Yes, but not just because of that. From the moment that he asked me for that favor, I also began to see Dia as my own daughter. And that's also why I tried to persuade you to stay when you asked for permission to leave. I was willing to spend however much it took. Kusela saved my daughter and I all those years ago in the desert. I could never refuse him entrusting his daughter to me.
He was always like that, acting like he's oh so smart and self-righteous.
Why is this pissing her off? I know that, like, he wasn't still really, like, a great dude, but, like, I don't know. Seems like he did this one good thing.
Kusela said that he'd reimburse me for a portion of Dia's fees. I refused to take any mora from him, but he'd always send me funds anyway. Eventually, I just accepted them as a token of his gratitude. And that went on for a while until I received another letter from him a few years ago. The letter contained a request to help him buy food, weapons, medicine, and even explosive materials.
Wait! Isn't that around the time that Dakana Lakmar started becoming more aggressive?
That's right. When I started to hear some nasty rumors, I became wary. I wanted to meet him face to face to discuss things. But by then, he was no longer receptive to my requests to talk. If I had to guess, it's probably because he doesn't want to put Dia at risk.
But by that same token, he should have also stopped asking you for the materials.
That thought occurred to me as well. I figured that he probably came to me for help because he had nobody else to turn to. After some deliberation, I decided to send him some food and medicine. I turned down all his requests for explosives and weaponry. I am aware that even such a reduced gesture of support could lead to others coming to harm, but I could not simply reject his plea for help. In the end, it probably was the wrong decision. I plugged my ears to the rumors and just chose a solution that made me feel least guilty about myself.
If you can, please tell me where he is now.
You gonna go after him?
None of the things he's doing right now make any sense if he's just trying to keep me from getting tangled up in his world. If all he wants to do is steer clear of me, then maybe he shouldn't have brought me into this world in the first place.
Oh no. Dia, please don't feel that way.
She did, Dia did mention in the first scene of her quest that her father is, or was, something of a womanizer. So, he was with lots of women, and she doesn't know who her mother is.
I'm just angry because I can't wrap my head around any of his actions.
Maybe there's another way of looking at all this. Can you try to believe in him just one more time?
I don't know. I really don't know. I don't think I can do it. But I guess you do have a point. We haven't uncovered the whole truth yet. We still need to figure out his exact actions and reasoning for these last few years.
I'll do my best to help. Of course, anything between the two of you would need to be resolved between you and him alone. I don't know Kusela's exact whereabouts, Outside of supplying his brigade with some goods, I tried my best to avoid getting involved any further with him.
Probably a good call.
However, there's a man on the list named Jawed. He used to be a mercenary in the desert and is now a member of the Corps of 30. He's responsible for supplying weapons and liaising with the Dakan al-Akhmar's merchant caravan. I think he should know Kusela's whereabouts. I've heard that he likes to have a few drinks alone and enjoy the cool wind at night outside the tavern. Maybe you'll be able to find him there.
Understood. Thank you, sir. Then I guess this is bye for now, unless...
I'll stay and be with my father here. To be honest, I'm still a little dazed and haven't finished processing everything quite yet.
Well, at least it's less, the answer is less damning than it seemed. Like he wasn't supporting him in favor of whatever malicious crap he has going on.
My father has indeed done something wrong, but if I think about it, I'm also not sure if there was a right way to handle this problem. I feel like our only course of action is to turn everything we know over to the Corps of 30 and let them render judgment.
Yes. I am prepared to accept whatever verdict they choose. It's time to face my mistakes.
Kind of a complicated situation. Look for Jawed outside the tavern at night. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump the time, and I'm also going to restart my recording here. Alright. Okay, well, if he does that at night, we're going to say 10 o'clock. And we'll go from there. Imeg. Hey, yes, sir. Hey, how's it going, Imeg? Welcome. Alright. Well, I'm here at night. I mean... Oh, there he is. I see him.
Huh? Who are you guys?
Tangy, have you by chance looked at my schedule for this week? Might I direct your attention to the schedule for Saturday?
I know what you've been up to. Smuggling weapons to violent brigades in the desert while working for the Corps? Pretty bold, if you ask me.
Shh! Keep your voice down. How do you know all that? Come with me. We should take this elsewhere. I'll be happy to talk things over once we're somewhere private.
Private conversation with somebody shady.
This place should do. Alright, back to my question. How did you all know about me?
Don't worry about that for now. You know what kind of punishment you'll face once we report you to the Corps, I assume.
Wait, there's no need to jump the gun. Let's talk this out. What are your terms?
So what's in it for you anyway?
Either's face, very unamused.
Well, I was a little tight on money at the time, and Kusela took good care of me in the past. I weighed it in my mind, and I couldn't find a reason to turn the opportunity down. I wouldn't only be helping my benefactor, but I could also make some quick mora.
Let me tell you how it is. We're investigating Dakan al-Akhmar, and we're gonna put an end to their operations. If you provide some help for us, then we might just put in a good word later to reduce the terms of your punishment.
Hey, why don't we discuss this a little first? Listen, I made quite a bit of mora from my last run. You just give me a number, and I'm sure we can...
You're talking to the wrong person, guy.
Shut it.
Yeah.
My patience is running out. You should know when a mercenary is after something other than money.
All right, sheesh. But you gotta promise you'll put in some nice words for me later. They're always on the move. Here's the spot they were at the last time I made my delivery to the desert. Feel free to go have a look. I'm just telling you though, it's not on me if they're not there anymore.
Sure. And then you can forget about any nice words from us.
Hey, come on. Now you're just being unreasonable.
Yeah, I didn't think Dio would be giving him any nice words.
Really? And how do I know you're not leading us straight into a trap? Don't forget, you're the one with no bargaining chips.
I feel like this guy's lucky that Dia didn't just, you know, kick his ass immediately.
All right, I get it. Why don't you go take a look, and if they're not there anymore, I'll try to figure out something else for y'all.
Now that's more like it. Let's move.
You know, like, I feel like Dia is probably one of the characters in the game who's like the next closest in terms of possibly employing the Shenhe method of interrogation, which is, you know, slamming somebody's head repeatedly into the ground until they talk.
And as for you, try to stick around the city until we get back. You don't want us to call the folks from the Corps and have them drag you back to the city.
No, that would probably be a bad idea. Talk to Susan.
Don't worry. I'm not going anywhere.
Better not. Okay. Well, Susan's all the way out here. I don't suspect I'm going to have any problems with the unexplored map section in the 2 quests that I'm going to cover, seeing as how the Dia quest was from last version, and Baiju is not going to the desert so far as I'm aware, so shouldn't have any problems.
Seems like we're in luck. That should be their camp right up ahead. Let's go. We'll finally get to the bottom of this ourselves.
Opinion on Fontaine? I am extremely excited for Fontaine. For a lot of reasons, but Fontaine has always been my most anticipated region. You know, I feel like people were asking me that all the way back when the game first released, and my answer was always like, you know, Fontaine is the one I'm most anticipating, because I've always been a big fan of like hydro magic and hydro type characters in all games that I've played over the years. So this being the nation of the Hydro Archon, I'm really excited. Plus, you know, like the whole aesthetic of everything that they've built for Fontaine is really interesting. And I've always had like this image in my mind of like a waterfall city. So I'm really excited to see what it's going to be like. I'm excited for underwater exploration. I think even Charlotte looks really cool, even though she's kind of like as I realized today while looking for images to use for my thumbnail for the Star Rail stream thumbnail, I realized that Charlotte is like the physical match for what, March 7th in Star Rail. So yeah, she looks just like that character. And so yeah, I'm gonna be really curious to see where they're going with it. Like I happened to notice that like all of the promotional materials even for that character has her using a camera and stuff, so it's like, oh, I see what you're doing here. But yeah, excited for Fontaine.
I'm here to see Kusela. Tell him to get out here.
Oh.
Tia, why are you here?
Oh, wrong character.
Quiver! Illusion shattered!
Well, let's just go ahead and knock these guys out real quick then. Oh, he burned.
Haven't you all done enough?
Oh, so are you also here to stop us?
Stay out of this. It's got nothing to do with you.
So you say.
Illusion shattered!
Oh, these two guys. Alright, I'm just gonna go overkill. You're done. Where's the other one? Bye.
She's so strong.
It's an entire camp of these guys.
Enough fighting. We all know each other, and I don't want to take things too far. Just bring Kusela to me. There's no use hiding him anymore. Did you understand a single word I just said? Or do I need to bash your skull in some more?
All right, everyone, let's all just calm down for a second. Dia, the boss can't come out and see you anymore. He died a long time ago.
What?
Oh. Well, that would make sense given the stuff that DEHYA'S father was telling us about.
Seems like you've been out of the loop for a while. Guess that's for the best, though. At least, that's what the old man wanted.
When did he die? What happened to him?
A few years ago, Kusela broke up Dakan al-Ahmar and went to the DEHYA'S Relics headquarters by himself.
So is that when you guys started acting up?
We would prefer to call it taking revenge. Every last person in DEHYA'S Relics must pay in blood for what they did.
So that's why they turned on each other. It was all motivated by revenge.
Let me start from the beginning. Dia, do you know how the head of the Relics maintained order internally?
Overwhelming strength and unquestionable authority?
Those were a part of it, yes. But just those on their own weren't enough. They had another tool at their disposal. They called it a person's record. Regardless of whether they joined by their own will or were coerced, every person in DEHYA'S Relics were forced to leave a record of themselves at headquarters. Whether it be their deepest sin, some unforgivable act, or their most immoral exploit, the record served both as a symbol of loyalty and the perfect material for blackmail.
So you mean Kusila thought there was no escaping the records?
That's precisely it. Every one of us have a record. Me, Bashar, Tikriti, and all the boys who grew up with Dia and ended up joining our ranks. But you, Dia, you were never asked to provide a record, were you?
I never even knew this was a requirement.
You were probably the only person in all of DEHYA'S Relics who didn't know about it.
Ever since you were born, Boss had been trying to shield you from this organization's sinister rules. Not only that, but he also banned all of us from committing any nefarious acts. He said he'd take care of the dues we had to pay regularly to headquarters. But in the end, he was just an ordinary person. What could he do? He was forced to go to headquarters again and again to account for missed dues and incomplete records. He'd come up with all kinds of excuses and get beaten up as a result.
We all knew he was doing that for you. He wanted to get you out of this world, no matter what it took.
And that's why he became a shell of himself and couldn't walk without a cane.
Wait, but that doesn't make any sense. I didn't know about any of this, and I'd never seen him get injured or beaten.
Because you were too young at the time. How would you ever tell between wounds from a beating and wounds from battle? When you left home after that final argument with him, he seemed to age by a decade overnight. Even his hair went gray.
So, even the blazing beasts were...
Yep. It was all his doing. Had he not arranged them to come to you, you probably would have been reduced to a pulp before you ever left the desert.
A few years ago, Boss said he needed to make another trip to headquarters. He was already pretty weak then, and we all assumed he was going to get beaten again. I suggested that he hand the role of leadership over to me, but he said there was no longer any need, since Dakan al-Ahmar would soon be no more. His words made no sense to me, but that night, we heard that a massive fire tore through headquarters and razed everyone's records to ash.
Everyone gained their freedom that night. Many members fled, not just from our ranks, but from the other brigades as well. But how could we leave with a clear conscience? All of us who knew exactly what had happened.
The boss can't have just died for nothing. Those heartless jerks at headquarters took him from us.
Damn heartless jerks.
From that point on, the sole purpose of Dakan al-Ahmar became revenge. The big fire that Boss started was quite a blow to headquarters' strength. It's given us the opportunity to launch our attack. Even though we're outnumbered, we vowed to see our revenge through to the very end.
But DEHYA'S relics haven't been the only victims of your revenge.
There were people from headquarters who changed their names and went into hiding. Some fled to other brigades, and others escaped to the rainforest. But we won't let any of them escape our wrath. They'll all pay for what they've done.
Will they?
We've suffered plenty of losses as well. To keep going, we need an enormous amount of supplies, from food and medicine to weaponry and explosives. All we can do is exchange our loot from Mora, and then use that to get supplies. We forged Boss's handwriting and sent out many letters to his former friends. Thankfully, many people were willing to come to our aid. We were also able to attract many mercenaries who shared our goal. We've endured unspeakable pain to win many impossible battles. Deshret's relics have become weaker and weaker, and now we finally have an opportunity to directly strike their headquarters.
Paimon doesn't know what to say anymore.
It's complicated, to say the least. Responding to violence with more violence will only cause more pain. Do you have any idea the amount of damage you've done?
We do know right from wrong, but we were sinners from the very beginning. We do not deserve the freedom that the boss won for us with his life. Boss always loved his old-fashioned hero stories. Those tales about sacrificing yourself to save the world. We used to always laugh at him for it, but in the end, he really went and lived those stories out himself. As for
Kinda
me,
did.
I never considered myself a hero. We're all the lowest of the low. We have no right to even imagine such an existence. But maybe those hero stories he liked foreshadowed everything that was to come. The spirit of the hero touched all those he had saved, and more people joined his cause. Maybe we were all just acting along with the play in the beginning. But as we acted the parts and recited the lines, we were drawn in. And now, we want to see the story through to the end. I'm sorry, Dia. I know you always found us insufferable ever since you were young. Just think of this as a madman ranting.
Well, I don't think this was the answer that Dia was looking for. I think she was hoping for an answer that was a little bit easier to hate.
I'll go with you.
Huh? Dia? You want to go with them?
I grew up with these guys, and I know they're not bad people. It's just that some situations get so bad that it's difficult to tell good from evil. All I know is that Deshret's relics must be destroyed. Furthermore, I want to go see the place for myself. I want to know if my father is still there. I know you don't want to get involved in this, so there's no need for you to tag along. I can do this on my own.
I'm on your side, Dia. No, I made a promise to DEHYA'S to support you.
Yeah. Paimon feels like we'd only regret it if we don't see this through to the end.
Thank you. We'll be a lot stronger together with you.
I bet Boss would lose his mind if he ever knew you'd join us at the very last moment like this.
Considering all the losses and injuries we sustained, we can't afford to turn down someone as powerful as you.
He can think whatever he wants. But the fact is, I owe him this much.
Well, he did set her up for a different life. And she's had that different life. I don't know if I would say, well, it's probably better, but it's definitely different. And it was, you know, a lot less turbulent. Still turbulent, just less. Eremites always had a weird place in the game, neither villain nor heroes, but human in the end. Yeah, that's true. They have always had kind of a complicated place. Hey, cool. My gamepad's making me like run into walls right now. I don't know what's going on with that. All right, hang on. What you doing there? What? All right, hang on. Let me unplug that guy and plug that back in, because something's clearly going on wrong there. All right, that should help with that problem. And just come back to life normal. And we're good. I don't know what that was all about. That was weird. Alright, started or stopped the recording again too, so I can save a little space for travel time. Looks like it might be up here. That's probably why all these updrafts are here. Yeah.
Is this the entrance? We sure didn't run into much trouble on the way here.
Should be.
Oop, I accidentally cut the dialogue on that. That's unfortunate. Alright, enter the hiding place. The only element I haven't brought from recommended is Dendro, and I'm just not going to. I'm just not going to. I don't need it, it'll be fine.
Wow. Paimon didn't expect it to look like this on the inside.
They should all be holed up in here. Don't know how many people they've got left, though.
Who cares? We'll round up all of them.
Still, we should be careful. Even if they've only got one shot left, it could still take us out.
I've fought through many situations like this before.
Yeah, we'll know what they're really capable of once we've landed some hits on them. Deshret's relics may have been a force to be reckoned with before, but their name means nothing now.
Yeah, they don't stand a chance with you here. I'll take the lead. I've been here once before.
Okay, so we're fighting along with these guys. It's gonna be a little bit tricky to tell who the enemies are at times when everybody's kind of the same looking. That's okay. Let's get that guy out of my face.
There is no escape. Flash!
Out of the frying pan.
Alright, last one of these guys at least. Alright, man. You knock that crap off. Oh, a couple more.
Now you shall
By then. Anybody left? Oh. That guy. And a couple more on this
no
side.
escape.
Nope, nope, that's out of order.
Teamwork is strength. Strike.
Boba, get them. Eat this.
Shine down.
See
Torn
if I
to
can reach them
oblivion.
from there. I did.
I'm getting.
Didn't get a good hit there.
This way, follow me. We're almost there.
Wait, they went charging ahead without checking for any traps.
That seems short-sighted. Yep, there it goes.
Hey, you guys okay?
It seems like we just got trapped in here. Don't think we triggered anything else.
Watch out, the enemy's coming from ahead.
Well, now that things have come to this, seems we'll have to fight our way through.
Don't worry about us. We knew something like this could happen. Go and take a look around. There could still be another way through. Let's go! We can't let the boss down!
Let's check if there's another way. The sooner we can make it through to help them, the better.
Let's see. I think I see a way through over there, but it's being blocked by something. Let's try our luck with that mechanism.
I haven't had to use some of these kind of mechanisms in a while.
Okay, let's go.
Alright. Just the height and color of the light so it may be properly received. Okay. Change color. Alright. Simple enough.
Illusion shattered.
Give me that.
There is no escape. Ha!
see here. How many terabytes would I have ended up with? I would say on the average, anywhere from 3 to 5 additional terabytes is what I usually add up.
Another mechanism like the one before.
It's another 1.5
But
to
this
3
one's
on the
being
year,
blocked off in
probably.
the middle.
We just need to adjust it a little.
Rotate the device obstructing the light. Once the light is received, the device will descend. Looks like one more. There we go. I was gonna say, okay, that should already be working. And I need to change the height for that one, or can I not? Okay, I'm gonna have to change the height for this one. Lower. There we go. And then this one, I don't think you can do anything with. I don't think that one's necessarily meant to go anywhere yet. Make sure there's nothing in this room before I leave it. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Oh, hey, look.
I'm going in.
Easy enemies to kill.
Out of the frying pan, into the fire. Hey,
Storm the front.
Why?
Inazuma shines eternal.
Overkill. Hey, more.
Get out of here.
Boba, get them.
Huh? Everybody stand. Flash. Shine down.
Going to get a little bit more energy built up. That'll probably about do it.
Torn to oblivion.
Bye. Alright. Doesn't look like there's anything hidden away in here. Alright, some more of these puzzles on the side. So it seems like that one needs to be rotated. And again. And again. And that needs to be raised. Wait. I think I need to rotate it here. And then I need to lower this one. And then raise this one. Yeah, that's what the problem was. Yeah. And then this one. I feel like just color change. Is there more to it than that? Like, I mean, everything seems to be receiving the right. I don't know. Maybe I just have to change how this one is. I don't know. I feel like it was already in the right spot, but I don't know. I'll try raising it for that and see what it'll do. Okay. Yeah, I didn't think that was gonna work. So I need to bring that one back down. So the problem should be that this needs to change colors. That's what the issue is. Yeah, there we go. And now I gotta change its color again. Yeah, there we go. I imagine I'm probably burning on towards the end of this quest by now.
I wasn't expecting anyone to make it through from the other side. But as a desert dweller, I suppose we should be used to our folks defying all expectations.
Don't waste your breath. You have nowhere to run.
Run? Had I wanted to run, I would have fled 1,000 times already. I witnessed the golden age of Deshret's relics. Even if I could leave this place behind, all that awaits me now are endless days of humiliation and ruin. Even now, my brothers and I still believe in one thing. The greatest should never live to remember their fall.
So you want to go out in a blaze of glory.
Let us draw our weapons! We will show them the true power King Deshret bestowed upon his followers. They are
Sure.
but two. while we hold within ourselves the entirety of the relic's glory.
Well, 2 1/4.
Wave 1, charge! Eliminate them!
Into the fire! You're
You tried.
Illusion shattered.
Alright, dude, you can stop shooting me in the face now, please.
Ha! Ha!
Don't think that you've won. We're just getting started.
Ah, he made me miss that.
Now you're
Shine down. Now
Bye.
you shall perish.
That guy got caught for 400,000. Alright. He had no chance.
Ha! Ha! Illusion shattered.
Nope.
Teamwork is dreamwork.
nice and spicy. Eat this! Ugh.
Ow.
Brothers! With me, this is where we'll prove our faith.
It won't go
Boss
super
just
great
wanna
for you, I
die?
don't think.
None of us plan to leave this place alive!
That's pretty much what happened.
Commander's finally fallen.
But they're still coming at us! This place is like a gladiator's ring. They just keep coming no matter how many we beat!
Yes, keep fighting! There's no need to fear, and no need to back down! This is our last stand!
Well, why don't you go in, dude?
When the next wave comes, try to draw away their attacks. I'm going to see if I can take out that high platform.
Yeah, knock that guy down.
Get out of my way!
Looks like they made it through.
Come and face me, Michel! Ugh, so they've broken through the front as well.
Apologies, Lord Michal. They fight like absolute madmen. No matter how much we throw at them, they just keep coming for more. Ah!
So, it would seem like this is the end.
Time to pay for everything you've done, Michel.
You think I would give you that opportunity? I will be buried in the sand alongside all the rest of our fading glory.
Hey, wait!
What just happened?
We were too late.
It's over. There's no more need to fight. But if you're still going to cling on to your so-called mercenary's pride, then I'll give you all a good beating as well.
Hey, dear! I found the mechanism. I'll get you all back up here right away.
Let's go.
Alright, to the upper floor then. Free stuff. Oh, nope, come back. There we go.
Who are you filthy rats? And why are you always pestering us?
You call yourself a member of the infamous DEHYA'S relics, and you still can't even tell who's made it all the way to your headquarters?
Who knows what intent a bunch of rats may have? We try
Rude.
to catch a couple, and you all just show up on the other side instead. How are we supposed to figure out what you're after? Hey, have you ever heard of a man by the name of Kusela? Why would I know? It's not like I'm in charge or anything.
This is your last chance to talk.
Hey, I said I don't know anything. I'm just an average member here. I'm telling the truth. If you're here to find someone, why don't you look through the records yourselves? Who can remember every name and face with so many people coming in and out every day?
The irony. His life became a light for so many, yet to others, it wasn't even worth remembering.
Dia's spinning.
Where's the records room? Answer me!
It's right over there. All the files are in there. You can go through them as much as you want. It's not like any of them still matter anyway.
I mean the old records room.
The old records room? You mean the one that got burned down? Kusela. Ah, yeah, I remember him now. The guy who could hardly walk. Watch your mouth. That's our boss you're talking about. He was definitely faking it. We all let our guard down as soon as we saw him come hobbling in. But in the short time it supposedly took him to take a dump, he'd already gotten away.
What?
And started a fire in the records room.
You know, Sumeru has gotten real casual with the dump jokes. Yeah, it seems like he you know, Yoda'd them, made him think that he was weak by walking with a cane, and then he wasn't.
He couldn't have possibly outrun us if he wasn't a fraud. And after that, Deshret's relics fell into complete disarray.
Stop wasting our time. Every one of us here is perfectly aware of what he had done. Tell me, where is the old records room?
It's just over there. Go see it for yourself if it means that much to you. There's nothing left in there but ashes. No human could ever survive that kind of inferno. Bashar, Tikriti, let's go. We'll leave the others here to guard these guys. Spare them no mercy if they try anything.
Yeah. Alright, well then, let's see what that room has in store for us. Actually, before we do that, see if there's any dialogue over here.
I've already told you everything I know. Can't you just leave me alone?
Sure, telling people to leave them alone tends to work a lot of the time. God, you guys, I can't tell you how warm it is in here right now. It's bad. It's really bad. Ugh.
So, this was his final destination.
Seems weirdly appropriate to have no AC and sit next to a warm computer for a story quest in the desert.
How did he do it?
That's how I
Getting
roll, you
past all the
guys.
guards with a limp and sneaking in here to start a fire? If he was nimble enough to do that, then he must have been able to get out of here after starting the fire, right?
Maybe not.
Dia.
I'm sorry. I know it's just wishful thinking. Let's look around. Maybe we can find something that's been left behind.
Everyone searches around the room.
Is this a cane? It must be the one that Dia's father used.
Kusela.
Thanks for everything, boss.
We're fortunate to somehow find that cane after that fire.
Let's split up and look around some more. What if something else has been left behind?
But what else could survive a fire like that?
Huh?
He had a blade concealed in his cane.
Thought so.
Wait! Isn't that the toy sword you played with as a child?
The dragon is no more.
for Princess Dia has slain it. Its head now hangs above the city gates. Her bravery has brought eternal peace and prosperity to us all. Dia, come on. This is the most important line.
You can do it.
But Dia, you defeated the dragon. Everyone's waiting for your speech. Still too shy, huh? All right, I'll do it. I hereby proclaim our victory. Evil shall plague us no more.
Hmm.
I hereby proclaim our victory. Evil shall plague us no more, Dad.
Well, the whole story was shared with the Core of 30. Finally joined the investigation in the name of restoring order. Members of Desper's Relics were brought to justice, and the members of Deccan al-Akmar turned themselves into the authorities. The king that once belonged to... God dang it. Knew I wasn't going to be able to get all the way through that.
What's this?
We've got you some snacks and drinks, all on Paimon's tab.
Don't you remember?
Does Paimon have a tab?
You asked Paimon what she would do if she were to wake up tomorrow with loads of money. And Paimon said that she would get boatloads of tasty snacks. You looked super confused at the time, but said it was an adorable thing to say. These opportunities don't come by often. So today, Paimon's gonna treat you to a special crash course on Paimon's life philosophy.
Just to eat a lot. She really spends her allowance on other people. It's really my treat, but you get the point.
Hey,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
You get something from the both of us for the price of one. Anyway, the point is that you should eat to your heart's content. You'll feel better for sure once you've gotten something in your tummy. Dunyarzad will also be here shortly. She's already heard that we're back.
Aw, thanks, you two. Honestly, this is very unlike me. I just had a lot on my mind on our way back, so I didn't know what to say. My chest was filled with all kinds of intense emotions. They just shook me even more than all the feelings we've shared during our previous adventures. But when everything came to an end, those emotions also vanished without a trace, and I was left feeling more empty than ever before. It was as if I'd lost the thing that was most important to me.
Everything just happened so fast.
Yeah, you're right. To many mercenaries, Mora is the most important thing in the world. But perhaps to us, it's the most worthless thing of all. Idrisi and the others all used to say that they would quit if there was no Mora to be had. But when it came to avenging my father, there was no Mora to be made anywhere. My reality shattered when I found out that the father who always told me hero stories was in fact a bad guy. But look at me now. Am I any different?
Yeah, I mean, you don't go around murdering people for money.
Despite all my promises
exactly.
about never forgiving him and never trying to understand him, I still went to such lengths to find out the truth and nearly even shed tears for his sake. We're hypocrites, all of us.
Should never question your true feelings, though.
Yeah, you're right. It's just a pity that we often only recognize our true feelings after it's already too late.
You're back! Are all of you all right?
Ah, there she is.
Yeah. Many people from the Core of 30 came over, and I just wrapped up everything with my dad. All I can do now is wait for their verdict. Huh? Dia, you're looking quite down again.
Well, she's been through some things.
Paimon will explain. A lot happened while we were gone.
Yeah. Once Paimon finishes telling the story, Dunyarzad begins to cry.
I'm sorry. I really should have controlled my emotions better. I just...
The unfortunate pain of having a computer that loads things really fast is that you frequently don't get to read those things. I end up
It's
having
all
to
right,
go
my
back
lady.
and
You
review
were
my
hurt by
recordings
all of
to read
this as
those.
well. Truth be told, I'm starting to feel a little guilty watching you cry like this.
But Dia, your pain must be even worse. You shouldn't need to comfort me.
Hey, don't worry about me. If anything, this whole thing has finally shown me the difference between illusion and reality. My father probably thought that people could settle into new lives as long as they moved to a new environment. That thought has even crossed my mind a few times. It's like saying, what's wrong with adapting to a new life? However, there was always something deep within my mind that refused to accept it. This impulse brought me great turmoil, and even made me feel ashamed for turning my back on your father's kindness. But now that I consider it again, it all makes sense. The desert sands are a part of who I am, and I will never be able to lead a peaceful existence.
I understand how you feel.
That doesn't mean I won't be making any changes to my life, though. As an example, I'm now thinking about taking on some small odd jobs. It's just like Idrisi said. I also want to catch up to my father and become a character in his play. Even if the ending of the story may be childish and ridiculous, it won't really matter.
Isn't that neat, though? Oh, you'll be a whole new kind of mercenary, one that's not out for Mora. Why don't we go for a change of scenery once we finish eating? What about stopping by the Grand Bazaar again?
Right. You said you wanted to get a rug for your family.
We'll come along too.
It's always more fun when everyone's together.
I can't thank you enough for taking care of me this entire time.
Go to the Grand Bazaar to clear your head. Alright. Is there any closer teleports? Nah, I'll just run over there. Alright. Well, this is an interesting quest. They, you know, the character story quests have this, this mean way of usually turning the screws, emotionally towards the end. This one definitely was, employing that tactic as well.
Oh, this rug here is quite something. The craftsmanship is exquisite, and the fabric is also of high quality.
Ah, here you are. Finally, I found you.
This guy sounds drunk.
Hey, aren't you that mercenary who bit his tongue?
That's why he
You
sounds
can
like
still
that.
talk? Wait, are you here to take revenge on us?
Now I feel like an ass for saying he just sounded drunk.
What are you talking about? Do I look like I could take you all in a fight? I just came here to give you something. I'll be on my way to give myself up to the Corps after this.
After this.
Once I woke up, I hurried to the Khan al-Ahmar's camp, hoping to alert them to your presence. But when I got there, I found no one except the members who were still too injured to move.
Ah, so you probably got there after us.
Yeah, they told me that they had exacted their revenge, and everyone had turned themselves in to the authorities. Even that last camp was not going to last for much longer.
This guy kind of sounds like the character Archer, but with food in his mouth.
I had joined the cause to repay an old favor from Kusela. Now that everyone's already turned themselves in, I might as well do the same. One of the injured members gave this box to me, and told me that it contained some of the old man's last possessions. Everything left in the camp will get confiscated, so I figured I should get this to you before the Corps could get their hands on it.
What? Yikes.
Thank you.
No worries. We are all just living our own truths. There's no need to comment or judge anyone for it.
So this box contains everything that Dia's father left behind. Huh. It feels lighter than expected.
I'm gonna guess he didn't leave much behind except for something meaningful for Dia.
Well, back in the day, the first thing he did with any Mora was spend it on things like drinks and meat. But let's see what's inside. What's this? It's just a bunch of junk. It kinda stinks.
Perhaps it's just been left unopened for too long.
A handwritten copy of a storybook. The paper's already yellowed, and it looks like it's about to fall apart. It was against the Academia's rules to possess books for personal use. If he was going to break that rule, he could have at least copied something useful.
That's not an okay rule.
That probably means this was really important to him.
And here are a few bags of children's snacks. The packaging's completely deteriorated. Maybe that's where the smell was coming from.
Did he get those for you?
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. Even when I was a child, I was never a fan of these kinds of snacks. He'd always say that he got them for me, but in the end, he always ate more than I ever did.
So apparently there's a lightning storm brewing up outside. The good news to that is it'll probably bring the temperatures down.
Who even leaves
I'll feel less
snacks in
like
a
I'm
box
sitting in
like
the
this
desert.
Anyway, isn't that just common sense? Forget it. Let me see what else is in here. A razor, some buttons, some round iron tiles, a wooden toy puppet, a wool scarf, which from the looks of it probably belonged to a woman, and a hair clip? Why are these things here?
I'm gonna say they're probably your mother's. Maybe?
I'm suddenly feeling a little scared.
Either they're yours, like things that belonged to Dia when she was a child, or like her mother's.
I'm sorry, my lady, but this is just the kind of man he was. He probably saw this box as some kind of personal trash heap and dumped any and everything in there. 2 empty liquor bottles. Tell me, you guys, are these the kinds of things that a normal person would leave behind?
Probably not. What an interesting man.
Huh? There's something in the bottle!
Oh, you're right. All right, I got it out. It seems to be a piece of paper with some writing on it. The bottom part's all damaged from moisture, though. Let's hope the writing didn't smudge. I was suddenly seized with an urge to write a letter after finishing this bottle. I just folded it up and left it in the bottle, though. If I end up forgetting about it, it won't really matter. To Dia. It's a letter for me?
You don't need to read it out loud.
It's all right. I'll just read it out. If he went to the trouble of writing a letter, there must have been some important things that he wanted to say. Or at least record down.
My condition's becoming worse and worse. Can't even walk without a cane anymore, much less go out and have fun. Guess I don't have many days left. If you're reading this letter, then I suppose I'm already long gone. You were adorable as a baby. Everyone loved you. And regardless of whether you were crying or laughing, everyone enjoyed having you in the group. But once you grew a bit older, you were no longer nearly as happy or cute. It's probably Idrisi's fault. He was never up to any good.
Can you believe this guy? He can point the finger at himself.
Anyway, back to the point. To summarize, I'm writing this so you would know not to feel sad for me, even if you end up finding out the truth. The reason being that I was never your father to begin with.
Oh, what? I mean... Okay.
Wait, what?
Surely, he must be joking, right?
I don't know.
I mean, visually, he did not look a lot like her. At all. Somewhere her mother's gotta be out there and has to be more distinctive looking.
I
Or
was
both of her
quite
parents.
formidable when I was young, and 100 times cooler than some so-called flame main. Really felt like the whole world was under my feet. With just a teeny tiny bit of effort, I felt I could rule over the entire desert. But as fate would have it, I went out into the desert for a drink one day and discovered a baby in the sands. It was you.
Huh.
You were just lying there, small and helpless. You were so tiny that if the wind blew for just a little while longer, you would have been buried forever. But your cries were so loud they made my head hurt. Now that I think of it, you really were a bundle of energy.
Sounds like he's serious.
I told Idrisi and the others that I had slipped up with a woman while out and about. None of them even doubted me. I'm sorry that I had to lie to them for so long, but I really had no other choice. I was their most esteemed leader, after all. It's not like I could just tell them that I suddenly wanted to play at being a father. At this rate, I'll puke up all the liquor I just drank from this bottle. Anyway, Dia, you possess the kind of freedom and kindness that we could only dream of. As far as how you should live your life, that'll be up to you to decide.
That's the end of the letter. In the end, he was still thinking of me as a little child.
And isn't that also a good thing?
I suppose, or I would have suffocated under the sand a long time ago.
Well, what the hell happened to her parents then?
He was a good father to you. The fact that he wasn't a blood relative doesn't change that.
Yeah, it's just a pity that we had to learn the truth of everything like this.
Do you already have some ideas about the decision that he wanted you to make?
I do. If he first found me alone in the sands, then I want to try my hand at finding the person who abandoned me. I just have one wish. To tell them a story. That there once existed a childish and foolish jerk with a heart of gold. And that only under his care was I able to grow and mature into the person I am today.
If you end up finding any leads, can you share them with us? We go on adventures all the time. Maybe we'll be able to find some information for you.
You know, I gotta tell you, this is the kind of like quest ending that's giving me thoughts that they may end up actually making a second Dia quest at some point.
Sure,
A lot
I
of the
appreciate
times,
it.
they're tied
I
up a
wasn't
little bit more
expecting you to
neatly
be
than
so
this.
enthusiastic.
I also don't want to see his efforts go to waste. I don't want you to stop going forward.
I'll help too.
Thank you. All of you. Thank you so much. My life has certainly had its twists and turns, but I've always considered myself lucky. Because no matter where I've gone, I've always been surrounded by incredible kindness.
Well, that's that. All right. Well then. God, I swear I smell something burning. I'm gonna have to investigate that. Yeah. I'll be right back.
I'm super awesome.
Nah, I'll just leave it. I'll be right back.
Studying is far less fun than making money. I'm super awesome. Studying is far less fun than making money.
Inactivity serves no purpose whatsoever.
I'm super awesome.
The world remains
All right,
constant
well,
over the centuries.
I can't seem to
But
figure out
human
what
life
that
is like
smell
the dew
is,
at
but
dawn,
it's probably just
or a
blowing in
bubble
from
rising
outside
through
somewhere.
water.
Maybe somebody's grilling or something. I don't know what that is.
Transitory.
Doesn't really particularly smell like food grilling, but some kind of burning. I don't know. Yeah, so Dia's quest was really interesting. It definitely kind of didn't end the way I was anticipating it would. It was more layered than expected. They kind of turned it into, oh god, you know, this kind of weird twist that he wasn't even actually her real father, and that means that her actual parents could be out there. Kind of hard to tell right now. Don't really know, you know, kind of where that's gonna go. Let's see. Yeah. I definitely appreciated the way that they wrapped that up, though. So yeah, I mean, I guess that also means that, you know, like Dia joined the ranks of all the other, particularly, especially like within the ranks of Pyro characters, where they were just randomly found somewhere, you know, like, or they're abandoned by their families, you know, like Amber has no meaningful family left because her grandfather randomly left. Bennett was found randomly as a baby, in, what is it, the, oh god, what is the name of that place now? It's on the tip of my tongue and I can't think of it right now.
Backdrop of constant motion.
Oh, I can't think of it right now.
I stand before it, alone and
Like
unchanging.
Javari something or other. I can't remember what it's called. Someplace in Notland. Yeah. What about other Pyro characters? I swear there's got to be other Pyro. D-Luke obviously, like, had to mercy kill his own father after a delusion, like, backfired on him, which is kind of rough. I feel like my chat's not updating properly. I don't know why. A lot of people rallied together and donated to all these children's charities that helped orphans. It was really neat, and it was all because of Dia. Oh, like in the real world? That's kind of cool. When she started reading that letter, I was half expecting Hoyo to go, "Oh, fun fact, DEHYA'S actually your sister." All their shippers. Myself would have been pissed. Interesting. Mayor Javari. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Or a bubble rising
Do I
through
plan on
water.
trying Star Rail? Yes, I do.
Transitory.
So you should. I have a schedule for all the streams that I'm going to be doing this week because I'm actually getting ready to tie this one up. Because it's freaking hot in here. And you know, starting the stream tomorrow earlier will make it a little less horrible because it won't be so hot. But yeah, if you check out the schedule, I will be starting Star Rail on Saturday. So yeah, I am planning on picking up, you know, and starting on Star Rail. I haven't decided like what or if I'll invest in it or not yet. That'll really depend on, you know, if any of the characters speak to me or anything like that. But yeah, I definitely want to get into the story at least because, you know, like the whole Hoyo-verse relationship between all of their games, there is going to be some greater implication there, or world building that exists within Honkai Star Rail, which I'm sure mildly applies to what's going on in Genshin, but not so... it's not going to be something so direct that, you know, you've missed something in Genshin if you didn't have it, because I think they know that would be a mistake, because not everyone who plays Genshin is going to play Star Rail, and not everybody who plays Star Rail is going to play Genshin, so they can't really do that. But what they can do is give you like passive context for things, which can enhance the depth of lore at times. So yeah, it is something that I definitely want to jump into. For sure. There are a fun amount of Easter eggs to Genshin in it so far. Oh, good to know. Male or female trailblazer? I don't know yet. It'll probably depend, like, I don't No, that is the Trailblazer in any of the
Inactivity
promotional
serves no purpose
materials for
whatsoever.
the game at all, other than just like a couple of the art pictures? Like, are there any trailers that actually contain the Trailblazer? Because I haven't been keeping up with Star Rail's trailers, and I'm definitely going to do that this week. Because that would be part of my research for it. Because, like, you know, Genshin, obviously, they tend to favor, well, they just outright, they favor using Ether as the protagonist for all of the trailers. And as a result of that, I used Ether as my chosen character because I wanted to have all of my shot footage be cohesive with their trailer footage, because it makes it easier to tell a narrative story in a video. So if there's cases like that in their trailers, then I would choose whichever one will make that the smoothest. But if they are not doing that in Star Rail, and you just don't see the MC in trailer material at all, then or if they're using both, then I don't know, maybe I'll choose the female one just for a change of pace. We'll see. Honestly, I haven't really even inspected what their designs look like in any detail yet, so we'll see. Maybe I need to hear what their voices sound like as well, because I have heard that the MC has more speaking lines in Star Rail than Aether does and Lumine does, so there's that as well. I mean, obviously, like, Aether and Lumine have a lot of speaking lines, but you have to go to the character voice lines to actually conjure them out. Yeah, there's not a whole lot actually in the game, except for in very specific quests that are usually wrapping up a given Archon quest kind of thing is usually where those show up. But yeah, Saturday, I will be starting Hawkeye Star Rail. I'm going to do, like I said, a little research before I get started in that as well. I never knew how to say that character's name, but yeah, I am planning to start on it. I don't know, maybe I'll invest a small amount just to, like, get, like, whatever, like, the current limited character is or something. I don't know who any of the banners are, or who the standard banner characters are, or any of that. I don't know. We'll see. Just because, like, I definitely won't want it to be, like, a really, like... What I will say about having invested, you know, in Genshin the way I have is that it makes the story play experience a lot simpler, because I have a lot of roster depth. Which does allow me to complete things faster, which allows me to make content quickly, comparatively quickly, because I can just clear through it really fast because my characters don't struggle with it. So maybe I would want to do that to an extent with Star Rail, just so that I can make sure I have a party that I can lean on to make things work. But I'm gonna have to do some research on how all of that works. I know that the game is essentially a turn-based RPG, so it's been a little while since I played a classic turn-based RPG. I want to say the last turn-based RPG I played, it's probably Final Fantasy X. It's been that long, because every other RPG that I've played has not been turn-based since then. You know, because Final Fantasy 15 was not turn-based. Final Fantasy 7 Remake was not turn-based. I mean, I guess I messed around a little bit with one of the more recent Fire Emblem games, and I guess that was turn-based, but I didn't beat it. I maybe only got like 7 or 8 hours into it. I don't know. It wasn't bad. I wasn't not enjoying it, but I think something came up and I ended up getting distracted. Maybe it was around when Genshin came out. Maybe that just pulled me away from it, and I just never picked back up into it. I think it was like 3 Houses or whatever. I think that was the one, and I think that's one actually a lot of people really liked, but I just never came back to it, I think, after Genshin came around. But yeah, you'd recommend still the female Trailblazer. Honestly, her voice lines are much less annoying, and her design and animations are just so much better. Not sure about who's in promo materials though. So it seems like most of you have that. Star Rail does have Gnosticism, by the way. Interesting. I mean, it's not too surprising, given Gnosticism's prevalence in Genshin. It's kind of hard to ignore at times. I mean, there's definitely elements to Gnosticism throughout like the entirety of Genshin's story. Although I find it difficult to rely strictly on that for predictions of where the story is going to go. You gave up on turn-based games a while ago. This one feels faster than most. Well, it's good to know. I mean, listen, like the games that, you know, like I cut my teeth playing, you know, turn-based games was like Final Fantasy 8 and 9 and Final Fantasy Tactics. Those were like my go-to turn-based games of reckon. My wife played Legend of Dragoon. Like these were the games that like we really enjoyed as like turn-based RPGs. That was when I really got into them, and I really, that was like the golden era of turn-based RPGs, honestly. And it's been a long time since I've really played those games. Gave up on it, yeah. So anyways, they're just pouring that Gnostic sauce all over Star Rail and Genshin. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely influence there, for sure. There's not really any argument to make to say otherwise. Start playing them when Final Fantasy VII came out. Yeah, I kind of missed the boat when Final Fantasy VII came out originally. You know, I was young and I didn't really like the N64 was already a thing. The graphics just seemed better on that, and so I was more interested in playing games like Zelda and stuff at the time. And I didn't really take to turn-based RPGs until Final Fantasy VIII, and you know, like the graphics were a little better, so you could actually tell what the characters looked like, even though, you know, if you zoomed in on them too much, they looked like nothing. They didn't look like little weird blobs of color. So it was a little easier for my palette to accept at the time. And honestly, you know, Final Fantasy VIII is still one of my most like beloved games of all time. In fact, my copy of Final Fantasy VIII and 9, for that matter, is on the wall right back here behind me. I'll just grab it. Chair. But yeah, I still have my original PlayStation 1 copy of Final Fantasy VIII, and this is like not one of those like greatest hits one. It was like the first run of Final Fantasy VIII before like all of the non-color guidebooks came out, where, you know, like they cheapened all of the stuff. Like this still had all of like the full color stuff in it and all of that. And if time has been kind to them, yeah, time has been very kind to all of my discs. They're still basically perfectly pristine because I'm OCD as hell. If you guys haven't picked that up from my videos, I have, even from when I was very young, I was the kid who was like, don't touch my discs, leave them alone. Like I had friends who would just leave them sitting around and they would get so scratched up and destroyed. And, you know, to the point where they didn't work anymore. And I kind of, even as a, you know, a very young child, was like, don't leave that stuff around. Why, like, do you not appreciate the things that your parents buy for you? What's wrong with you? Maybe it's because, like, we didn't have a lot of money, and when, like, I got these things, they were like, okay, cool. I'm going to take care of these because it's important that I do that. So that was probably kind of where that came from. Yeah. I did enjoy Final Fantasy VII's story. I had a friend who was, like, way into Final Fantasy VII. And he must have beat that game like while I was at his house like a million times. And you know, by that like he didn't really take to Final Fantasy VIII, but I beat that game like a million times. So we kind of met in the middle on that. And then when Final Fantasy VII Remake was announced years ago, now I was very excited about that, and that did not disappoint. Remake and its DLC were both like a complete like masterwork, and I cannot wait for the sequel later this year in the winter time. That's going to be amazing. Speaking of awesome sequels, because this is my opportunity to talk about it, freaking Tears of the Kingdom, you guys. I haven't had that much time. I've maybe only gotten like 10 hours into it since it came out. I picked up a collector's edition for it this week. The game is so awesome. It's so good so far. I haven't gotten, like I said, I'm only at like 8 or 10 hours of gameplay in it so far, so I really haven't gotten that far into the story yet. But what I have gotten, like, I have really enjoyed, and like just the mechanical things that they've added to the game. It's like, you know, being a sequel to the game that kind of changed open world RPGs as a genre. They have taken it to the next step yet again. And I'm sure all of you have seen, you know, like the YouTube shorts and like the TikTok videos of people who are making like ridiculous like jet aircraft and mech soldiers and stuff like that, and tanks. It's ridiculous. But, you know, it's more than that. Like, the game has a lot of interesting depth. The world is massive. It's just, it's real good. Ions are in Gnosticism, but also in Greek Roman mythology. They seem to be using a lot of Roman mythology with Star Rail. Okay, interesting. Have I played Final Fantasy IX? Oh no, look, it's my copy of Final Fantasy IX from when I was a kid. That's also really old and in very, very good condition. Yes, I have beaten Final Fantasy IX about 500,000 times as well. I definitely played this more recently than I did Final Fantasy VIII. Honestly, it's been a long time since I've replayed either of these games. I think the last time I replayed Final Fantasy IX, oh god, it was like 2010 or 11. It was a long time ago. And Final Fantasy VIII was probably even longer than that. It's getting to the point where I am needing to replay them again, just so that like I can put those stories in my brain again and just enjoy them, because I feel like it's been long enough now that like some of the events that happen will surprise me again. But you know, I probably like without exaggerating the numbers, I probably beat both of those games 7 or 8 times minimum each, because you know, I was the kind of person who like wanted to explore every corner of the game and then do it a little bit better the next time. And I just enjoyed the stories of the game. So there was that. Do I think Tears of the Kingdom would make any sense to someone who hasn't played Zelda games before? Sure, they've definitely made an effort for Tears of the Kingdom to be approachable as a new player in the Zelda franchise. I can definitely, like, there's been plenty of moments that I've noticed even within the first 8 to 10 hours where they went out of their way to explain something that I'm like, yeah, I played Breath of the Wild. I know that already. Where I was like, okay, they definitely are doing this to initiate the uninitiated. So, yes, you definitely can play Tears of the Kingdom even if you've not played any previous Zelda games. And honestly, you know, if you've been playing Genshin for a long time, it's gonna feel like a pretty smooth transition. A lot of the game mechanics for like travel in Genshin were obviously Breath of the Wild inspired. I mean, nobody can really ever argue that. Genshin just took it to another level with the way its combat and storytelling works. Tears of the Kingdom is further developing, you know, like sandbox freedom within open world RPGs, and really redefining again how that works. And it's genius. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it to you. You'll definitely love Baiju's story quest. It's so good. Yeah, I can't wait. I'm definitely looking forward to it tomorrow. Tears of the Kingdom is hard. I find it harder than Breath of the Wild. Yes, so it's funny that you bring that up, because what I've always referred to, like Breath of the Wild, like when you're starting it, it's not Breath of the Wild, it's 500 Ways Link Can Die. That's what Breath of the Wild was to me. Like, you would, like, if the enemies didn't kill you, the world itself would find ways to kill you. And you're constantly finding, when you play Breath of the Wild for the first time, new ways that the world is designed to kill you. And it's all intuitive. It's like, oh, hey, in the real world, that would kill you. But a lot of other games kind of ignore those things. But Breath of the Wild actually expanded on them into things that translate into the real world and will result in killing you. Like, if, say, for instance, you're retreating from an enemy who has a bow that shoots lightning arrows, and you run through water, and he shoots the pond while you're running in it, you get electrocuted and die. That's the kind of intuitive stuff that happens. Or if you have low health and you fall into a river and it's cold, you die. Stuff like that. Oh, you trip and fall down a hill. While rolling down the hill, you take damage. If you don't have enough health when you get to the bottom of the hill, you die. Like, all of that is the kind of stuff that happens in Breath of the Wild. And Tears of the Kingdom, again, has taken that literal, and like, I would say that the enemies are harder in Tears of the Kingdom, such that, you know, yeah, you're gonna die a lot. I've definitely had a few moments already in Tears of the Kingdom where I died very surprisingly in ways that I didn't expect, or hadn't died in the previous game, but I've also died just to new enemies. At one point, like, I crossed a field and like a bunch of like black and red hands busted out of the ground and started chasing me, and they're way faster than you. You can't get away from them. Yeah, died super quick on that one. But yeah, it's great. And so at games, you're like, this game is 1,000 ways Link can die. That actually is what I've been calling it this week. So I quite literally like leaned over to my wife while I was playing. I was like, oh, so this game's 1,000 ways Link can die. I literally said exactly that because it's intense. I would definitely say it's a bit more difficult. Chase the frog into the water and drown. Yeah, that'll do it too. Yeah, especially if you're low on stamina. You're just gonna do the same thing you would in Genshin. If you have no stamina and you go in the water, you'll just drown. The battle talus is scary. Yeah, that's the talus with all the freaking bokoblins on it and all the yeah. I have found exactly one of those so far, and it killed me. So I have avoided it in its entirety since then. Like being able to jump down the distance of multiple flights of stairs vertically at once in Genshin, because that always annoyed me a bit. Like, whoa, being able to jump down the distance of multiple flights of stairs vertically at once in Genshin. Because, yeah, are you talking about like taking falling damage? Genshin's falling damage has always been really, really high. I would say Breath of the Wild also has pretty intense falling damage, particularly with all the new gliding mechanics that they've added. If you were in dive position and you hit the ground, it basically doesn't matter how high off the ground you were when you started it. You pick up so much speed that it just auto kills you, or at least it does when you have as many hearts as I do, which is only like 7. So yeah, I have had a lot of fun with it though. It's great. Wow, Warpaint and Unicorns. I started playing. I still have my original PS1 Final Fantasy 4 through 9, and my original Nintendo and Sega. Every after I sold. So I still have all of those as well. I have a bunch of cabinets over here that they're all actually displayed in, because you know, like, I don't get rid of anything. I still have all of my Pokemon cards from when I was a kid, for crying out loud. Like, that's actually something I could look through at some point. Maybe I'll do that this week. Because actually something I didn't headline it on one of my streams, but I'm probably going to do it as like a kind of a side break on one of my streams this week. I haven't decided which one. Maybe one of the Saturday ones, but maybe possibly Thursday or Friday. I have my physical copy of Genshin Tarot finally, and guys, it's beautiful. Like, as a, like, you know, like a pretty dedicated Genshin fan, it is the kind of thing that, like, the diehard fan should have. It's all the detail in it is absolutely immaculate. I haven't even opened everything in it because I wanted to kind of experience it genuinely with everyone on stream. So I still haven't even looked through everything, but what I did look through is so freaking nice. It's ridiculous. And maybe I would go through like my old cards or something if people wanted me to during a stream like that. So yeah, I you know, like, I'm kind of like a classic collector. Pretty much most of the things that I grew up enjoying, I took really good care of. Like my Ocarina of Time Collector's Edition with the gold cart and the shiny box, like, that's also on display behind me, and have had it on display behind me for a long time. You know, I joke with my wife, you know, like, if our house were to, like, be on fire, I would get her and the cats out first and then come back in for my copy of Ocarina of Time, because, like, that's how precious that thing is to me. Yeah. You laugh at how many times you've killed yourself sprinting off a small hill in Genshin. Yeah, I have definitely done that more times than I would like to admit, for sure. Yeah, I don't know what happened to the camera. I think maybe my computer hates being this hot. Geez, Spotty, what? All right, Spotty's saying hello. My computer is running at like a solid, like, mid 60s in Celsius, so it's cooking a little bit. Like, it's definitely not anywhere towards what I would call overheating, but it's definitely running hotter, given that I'm only playing Genshin right now, than it should. My old system, before I did some recent upgrades, only ran at like mid 50s when Genshin was up. But the i13 900K is a little bit hotter running, especially when it's overclocked. So it it cooks, and it makes this room a little warm. My graphics card is also running around the same temperature, and I'm thinking it's probably just uniform heat soak between the two. So yeah, it's one of the reasons why I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream, because we got enough heat in this house. And then my computer's only contributing more to it at the moment, which is one of the reasons why most of my other streams for the rest of this week are going to be early in the morning. And, you know, I'm going to run them long, so it'll probably still get warm, but it'll be more gradual because, you know, just starting the stream today, it was already hot in here. So with these ones starting in the morning, it won't be so warm, at least when I start. Hey, new follower, Megaloman. Hey, appreciate it. Thank you. Oh, better let it cool down. So yeah, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Like I said, the system's not anywhere close to overheating. Usually you're not in risk of damaging PC parts until you start getting into like mid to upper 90s, and the i9 1300 or 13900K is spec'd for like reaching up to around 100C without being damaged. And I've not seen it gotten anywhere near that. And I have a very very detailed monitor for it. Like, I don't know if you guys can see this thing. I can't even reach it because the cable won't go down to it. But yeah, I have a really detailed monitor that I put together for it that has all of my my system specs on it and everything, and it tells me and it allows me to monitor like what every core is doing temperature wise. Because Ada64 is an awesome and powerful program for monitoring your computer if you're OCD about, you know, taking care of your things like I am. So yeah, it's not in any danger. It just makes the house really hot, and it is running probably about 10 degrees higher in ambient than it should because of the temperature in the house. And that's really the only concern, is that it's just running hotter than it should because the house is hot. And then it contributes to the heat. It's kind of like a runaway effect, you know? Like the hotter it gets in the house, the hotter the computer gets because the ambient is hotter. And so it can create a little bit of a runaway, but it's not going to get so hot that it can damage it. I don't think at this point it should be fine. But I do think that that's going to about wrap it up for the day, guys. I got through the Dia quest. Tomorrow is Baiju, but I'm starting early. So there's going to be more after Baiju. Maybe I'll get into that Genshin Tarot game so that I can show you guys how nice a freaking product that is, by the way. And if I show that to you guys and you like it, like, give Brother Mean Games a shout out, because god dang, man, like it's nice. It really is. He makes a good product, and if you guys have bought any of his other games, then you know. But yeah, I'm going to get out of here. Thanks for being here on the stream. I will be back tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. for Baiju's story quest, and also probably some other small world quests and side quests that I need to start getting knocked out as well. But for now, I'm going to get out of this hot box that I'm sitting in, because it is real toasty in here. Like I said, I don't know how hot it is in this room right now, but it's got to be every bit of it's probably more than 83. It's 83 degrees Fahrenheit outside right now, but it's got to be at least that, if not more, in here, because I'm sweating just sitting here. So yeah, it's warm. So I'm gonna get out of here for the day. Thanks for being here. Subscribe if you haven't already, because it really helps me out. And make sure to hit the like button on the way out, and I'll see you all in the next one. Pizza!
All the world holds dear is but a backdrop of constant motion. I stand before it, alone and unchanging. Inactivity serves no purpose whatsoever.